Tim Smith presenting our podcast Room, where we're here to highlight and expose the people, places, properties, and stories of Southern California to the world. Today's guest, Andrew Patterson, Patterson Custom Homes, one of the biggest and best builders in Orange County. Not just a builder, a businessman building homes. Your story is, everybody has this idea that entrepreneurs have this perfect path. They're just going to go. I want to hear about how you made it down to Orange County, how you started your career in building, because you didn't just start out one day with it, or did you start out with an idea that you were going to be the biggest builder in Orange County?
No. And I still don't want to be that. I want to be the best builder in Orange County. That's a big difference. I want to be the best, not the biggest.
What about the biggest and best?
I want to be the best. Biggest is way down the list.
Okay, so take us back to that decision when you came. Why Orange County?
I was living in San Francisco after college for a couple of years, and then working downtown, living down in the marina, and
What year was this?
This was 1999.
Okay.
Is that right? 2000, right?
And you're from Northern California?
I'm from the Bay Area, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so after college, I ended up back in the city. I was born in San Francisco, but I grew up in Cupertino. Lived in the surrounding areas, of the Bay Area. Grew up there, and then I went to college in Colorado. Came back like everyone else does, and kind of comes back to where best, home, I guess. So I ended up living in downtown San Francisco. And rode the bus, lived the city lifestyle right when the .com was building up. And all my friends from college or from high school or college were saying we were all living there together. And I was on this path. I was always in construction and real estate. It's always sort of been my passion, what I've been into. And I was working for an institutional real estate development company downtown, and all my friends were in these startup .coms, and I was making, I don't even know, $30,000 a year, barely scraping by. And all my friends were, oh, you gotta get with me. We're gonna go to this friends and family dinner. I'm gonna get you a pre-IPO share of this joke.com stock. You're not gonna believe it. It's the most amazing thing on earth, right? They're gonna send you a joke in your email every day, and you open it. This is gonna IPO for $1 billion, and we're all gonna make all this money on it. And these guys are begging me, hey, you got to get in these internet companies, these startups. It's I'm kind of in construction. It's like, hey, you make $30,000, you make nothing. I'm making $50,000 in stock options a week. And sure enough, the reckoning came. The same way you try to get me to buy those cartoon apes. Remember that? You're like, oh, I'm buying the cartoon apes, right? You're trying to get me to buy those things. I was like, dude, that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my life, right?
Okay, so back
to cartoon ape. What's a cartoon ape even mean, right?
So
now it's like you can't even give it away for 10 grand, whatever it is. It's like millions of dollars.
Yeah.
You love all that stuff, that crypto crazy stuff. That's what you're into.
So you're living with roommates at the time, or no roommates?
No, living with a girlfriend, longtime girlfriend.
Okay.
It didn't work out. And so working downtown. Then one day, just like it is kind of right now, it's just boom. It's done. It's over with.
Yeah.
And it happened within a span of like 5 days. The .com exploded. It's done. And I'm sitting here, nowhere to go, no job.
End of the relationship, same time?
Yeah, all of it same. Just said I'm kind of out, done with this phase of my life, and then just out, and went back home. Back to Cupertino, and my mom was on me. Cleaning out the garage. I came across these old magazines, surfer magazines, talking about the wedge. And I had, I don't even know, like $50,000 severance, saved up money, around. And so I said, I'm just going to drive down to this Newport Beach place and check it out. Never been here before. Didn't know anybody. I went to Disneyland once as a kid, I think. That's the only time I've ever been to Southern California.
So was it only like Newport Beach?
No, I just had nothing else going on.
Yeah.
So I just said, hey, I got nothing else going on.
Yeah. No job.
No, nothing.
No place to live.
No, but 50 grand.
50 grand.
Yeah. And so,
what did your mom say? Was she like,
I should get out of the house, beat it, and drive me nuts. See, my wife says the same thing. Yeah. Don't you have somewhere to be? Don't you have something to do? Can you just get out of here, please? My mom says the same thing to me.
Yeah.
And so
we generally marry our mothers.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Or the parent that wounded us the most.
So exactly. So I basically, that was back in the day of when MapQuest first was coming out. You had the 14-bit modem, loads the map. And it says, I printed it out, and it said Newport Beach, and it kind of ends at Triangle Square. And then that's where I ended up. And I put all my stuff in my white Toyota pickup truck, and just drove down here. and ended up staying. Didn't have any money, but I didn't want to dip into my savings, my 50 grand, whatever it was. And so I ended up staying at the Costa Mesa Motor Inn across from Home Depot.
I've always wondered who stayed there.
Yeah, I was there. Yeah. It's where
I drive down
it's
there.
where they,
Like
it's,
somebody
yeah, it's basically
stays
where
there.
they take all the homeless people go stay there. And so I stayed there. It was like $20 a night, whatever. And I stayed there for like 4 or 5 months while I basically got into the real estate area down here. And Marcellus, who's still at the Orange County Real Estate, the Newport Beach Association of Realtors.
Yeah.
Marcellus.
So you actually got, so when you came down here,
I joined the
you got your license. You're like, I'm going to be a realtor.
Yep, I'm going to be a realtor, construction, didn't know what I was going to do.
Yeah.
So I just went, applied, got my real estate.
Did you get your license and actually hang it
No,
and start doing brokerage?
I've always been an overachiever. So in college, I actually sold real estate. When I went to college in Colorado, I actually was a real estate agent there. And then just transferred to California. Then I got my broker's license, and then I had my general contractor's license, so I kind of didn't know which direction I was going.
Yeah. So
I basically was living the Costa Mesa Motor Inn. I got on the what do you call it, the ML, what was it?
The MLS, or
what's
Newport Beach
Board.
Yeah,
Newport Beach MLS, whatever.
Yeah.
And try to find something I could put a down payment on, or could buy it, fix up and sell it. I ended up getting a 1-bedroom over here on Halyard Street, right behind the hospital.
Yeah.
And so, why'd you buy that place? I said, well, it was great because it was value add. That was my big thing. How do I add value and increase, the square footage or make the purchase price more? So I think I bought it for like $100,000, and I used my money to fix it up. And what the beauty of this property was, there was a garage. And behind the garage was a whole like 15 by 15 foot storage room underneath the living room. Says, oh my gosh, I'm just gonna cut a hole in that. I'm gonna cut a hole in that thing, put carpet down, make an office, and now I've got an extra, 400 square feet, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And so I did that, and in the meantime, I did it all myself. So I didn't have any friends down here. Didn't know anybody down here.
Yeah.
I literally just would go to Home Depot, get all the tools, did all the wiring myself, built all the mirror light, the cabinets from Home Depot myself, put them all together, the slab myself, the drywall myself, everything.
But during this time, you weren't thinking, okay, I'm going to build. I'm going to be a builder.
It was honestly, I look back in time, it was probably like the most spiritual time of my entire life. I was by myself. I didn't know anybody.
Yeah.
I had no money.
Yeah.
And I literally would just work until all hours of the night and just eat fast food, rip cigs, and just remodel this house at nighttime. It was incredible.
Yeah.
And I just had nowhere to be, no one waiting for me to got there. All I had to do was just finish this thing and then sell it.
Yeah.
And then try to make a profit, hopefully, and then move on to the next thing.
But you weren't working outside of that. That was it. You bought this place, you're fixing it up. So then what happens?
And so then so I ended up selling it. I think I sold it for $150.
And you listed it yourself.
I listed it myself, and my friends always give me a hard time because I had this flyer I made for myself, and I'll never forget it. Big letters says "Walk to Beach," right? Like that was my big thing. Like you can walk to the beach from here. I mean, you have to pack a lunch. I mean, it's pretty darn far.
It's pretty close.
No.
Okay.
It's a diff pack a lunch.
Yeah.
But walk to beach, right?
Yeah.
That was my thing, and I think I sold it for around $150, whatever. So I got my initial money back, and I made some extra money. And then I buying a place on 36th Street.
Okay, wait, stay there for a second.
Yeah.
So before this, like in a short period, you went and you turned like a $50,000 profit.
Oh yeah, I was the king of the world.
Yeah.
I mean, 50 grand. I mean, are you kidding me? That's
Yeah.
it's the craziest thing I ever had in my. I couldn't even believe it.
Yeah.
I got the escrow check. I couldn't.
And like, was this like a
believe it.
6 month process?
This is about a 6-month process.
Okay.
From when it would have been a year now. From the day I moved to Newport, the day it sold was about a year. So I was
Okay.
in the motor inn
Okay.
for a while. Then I was doing it myself. But literally just like the time of my life. It was all ripped down to the studs.
We're at that
sleeping
time.
on air mattress, covered in dust all the time.
So at the time, because the entrepreneurial spirit, and I've been through this. I graduated from college. I've never used my diploma for anything. Like, I just knew I wasn't going to work for somebody else. Weren't you tempted at that time to go out and get a job and do like the plan A? Follow that plan, or no? You're just like, I know I can do this. Like, what was the differentiator for you there?
Well, so I did actually work for a commercial construction company down here. Like, I kind of just did that. I was like, okay, that was fun. Now I gotta like be a man. I gotta I gotta shave. I gotta wear nice clothes. I can't just be a bum and fix up houses and be filthy all the time. So I did some commercial construction work, but I was still buying houses on the side and remodeling them at nighttime. And so then I didn't work out with that. short stint I had. I can't work for somebody else. It's just not my personality.
Yeah.
And so then I ended up buying this place on 36th Street. And then it took more money than I thought it was. I think it was $600,000 to buy it. It was way over my skis.
Yeah.
But back then, and this is like, I am the demise of, like, I'm the case study, right? Because back then, everyone remembers WAMU came out, Washington Mutual, the negative AM loan, right?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, the craziest thing.
But what year was this? Was this like 2000?
This is like 2003 or 4 now, right?
Okay.
Yeah, I think so. So I'm over my skis. I'm trying to, like, I bought this place on 36th Street. I made another unit out of it. So it's like a triplex, even though it's not really supposed to be one, but I did it one. And then, hey, all of a sudden, hey, you don't have to pay all your principal each month.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
What do you mean? Option A?
Yeah.
It's $4,000. I don't have to pay $500. That's an actual option.
Yeah.
I'm pocketing the rent checks, trying to get at.
Yeah.
And then I had a couple other properties I bought that didn't go well, and I, and I don't have any like rich family, rich parents. I have no safety.
What does that
net.
mean? It didn't go well. You actually bought them.
I
and
bought
lost
them.
money?
I lost money. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I bought them and I didn't sell them from what I put into them.
And so you fix it up.
Yeah.
So you're
But
here.
it's okay though because I was covering my payments because
of
I
neg am.
because I had these tenants. And I have to pay the mortgage. Right?
It's so funny because
it's just going up and going up.
So now, and I don't want to fast forward too quick,
Yeah.
but now you've become kind of the gold standard for building
Today?
in Newport Beach, right? And so, but it's interesting to hear the path of bumping along the way. You make money on your first deal, you lose money.
Yeah.
So how did it go from there? How did that transition happen?
So then, which is great. So I ended up meeting up a guy who asked me if I could build a house for him. And he was or was a tract of 5 houses for him. And he was going to pay me, $50,000. So now, once again, the 50 grand comes around. I was like, wow, I have these tenants.
Yeah.
I don't have to pay the whole payment.
Right.
And I can make $50,000 on building this tract of 5 homes, whatever it is for these guys. And
was this just like a one contract?
One contract deal? Yeah. So
yeah.
now I'm actually like, I got the biggest sign you can make. Big, like,
and what was it? What is it?
Patterson Custom Home, Patterson Construction Corporation.
Okay.
And I made the logo on my they needed a logo.
Yeah.
Right. So I was like, okay, so I want a word.
Yeah.
And I just made a blue box and put a white PC in the middle of it.
Yeah.
And that was it.
Okay.
Done.
Yeah.
Patterson Construction Corporation.
Yeah.
I made it something.
Yeah.
And so I had got behind the 8 ball a little bit, right, on some payments. Owe people some money. Things weren't going that well. So there's this thing that came on. It said in the register, and it said Wells Fargo. It was like $5,000. No credit check, no approval, whatever. Some loans. Like, oh my gosh, this saved my life. $5,000.
Yeah.
This saved my life.
Yeah.
And so I go in there to the Wells Fargo right across from Billy's, right there on PCH on Riverside.
Yeah.
And I show up to get the loan, to apply for this loan, and I ended up meeting my wife, and she was the loan officer.
That's how
I met Shannon. Yeah.
Wow.
And so I didn't get the loan, unfortunately. I was probably the only guy that couldn't get it because it was that back.
Yeah.
I was that backed up.
Yeah.
And but I had this contract, so I was going to build this house for these guys. So then all of this, that was sort of just,
And this is kind of 2004, 2005.
Yeah, I would say around there.
And so that's when you
Maybe
kind of
less
put
than that,
your
yeah.
sign,
Maybe
Patterson
2003.
Construction
Yeah.
Corporation.
Yeah.
And so you finished those 5 houses.
Yep. And then a guy named Bill Baker I happened to, can't remember how he even got a hold of the guy or how he contacted me, but that was my first segue into custom homes.
And did you feel at that time like?
And then he gave me the opportunity to build the 2 houses on Orchid, right?
Which is where we met.
I met you.
Okay,
Yeah.
so stop there for a second.
Yeah.
So when you got that contract to build, did you feel like, oh, I can handle this? Like you understood the construction. You had enough experience.
Yeah, that's I think that's the thing, is that it's always construction and the way things are put together. It's sort of it's always come natural to me.
Yeah.
It's I can open a set of plans and I can be in the room. I can be in the space. I can, in my mind, I can do it all. It's never been hard for me.
Yeah.
It just all makes sense, So it was scary because I never built a custom home before.
Yeah.
Right. And so Bill basically gave me the opportunity to build 3 houses for him because I was the cheapest guy in town.
Yeah.
Do 50 grand, remember?
Yeah.
Right. Everyone else is. That was
so. Was it just kind of your structure was a cost plus? Like this is my fee.
Yeah. It's
I'm going to
fixed.
pass through the cost.
Yeah.
Like
you pay me 50 grand a house.
And so you're basically buying business in the beginning.
Yeah.
Because
put my sign up.
Yeah.
Put the sign up. Yeah. Yeah. And then I slowly changed the name from Patterson Construction Corporation to Patterson Custom Homes.
Yeah.
Which is our DBA now.
Yeah.
But yeah, so then
But going back there for me, because that was interesting, because I still remember. So Chris Radomski
yeah,
called me
Chris
to sell
Radomski and Gina,
it.
yeah.
222 Orchid, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Hi, Chris, by the way.
Yeah.
And I remember going over there. It was a 3-year-old house, and he had a huge dog, and it looked like it was like a 15-year-old house.
Yeah.
And I called you up, and I just said, "Hey, do you have, like, can you just come out here and bid some of the work? We have these in escrow." And when
Right.
you came out, you brought everybody out, and I was like, "Damn!" You were just like on it,
Right.
and then you did everything at cost, or
Right.
maybe you even paid for it.
I just paid for it. Yeah, I didn't charge anything.
And I was like, "This is amazing."
Right.
And so that segued into this. So now, fast forward today, what does your business look like? Like, from a standpoint, we'll talk about not the biggest and the best, but like just to give everybody, you start out in 2000, you cut your teeth, you can't get a loan, you meet your wife,
Right.
and then you fast forward. How many permits or how many projects do you have today? Because I drive through Newport Beach, Corona Mar, even down into South County, and I see the blue fence,
Right.
and I see your sign everywhere.
Right.
So what does your business look like today?
So now we do about $80 million a year in revenue.
Okay.
Custom homes. We have a team of 36 people.
What does that mean from, like, I understand the revenues, but what does that mean from like a number of homes being built?
So that's a tough question to answer.
Yeah.
How many houses are you building?
Yeah.
We'll define that. Like, what's your definition of that? Because the reason why our business is so successful is because we have a whole different take on the building process, which is so mind-blowingly different than I call it the old archaic way of doing it.
Yeah.
Where you're going to hire, I'm going to go to Orange County. I'm going to call the realtor. I'm going to buy a lot. I'm going to hire an architect, and then I'll get the bids when the plans are done. It's the most archaic, backwards way of doing it on earth, right? But since I didn't come from ever working for a builder,
Yeah.
I come from more of a process mentality.
Yeah.
Of what makes the most sense? Okay,
Yeah.
what makes the most sense? What makes the most sense is, one, right? You take care of every house you ever built. That makes sense, right? There's never any problems. No one's gonna be pissed off. So we have lifetime care on every house we built, right? We finish our house, we take care of it forever.
Which
right?
seems like really interesting. So just let me
Yeah.
stop you right there, because I can't, like, you buy a car,
Right.
you have a service plan, you buy a house. I've sold so many houses where it's like, okay, there's no service plan
Yeah.
to back this house up.
Yeah.
You should have a book that says
know.
do this. And half the time you don't even know. As a homeowner, like, I see something leak and I'm like, it seems like my
Right.
is
And
leaking
it's-
too much. And then all of a sudden you have a huge problem. But you
Right.
think it's the most expensive purchase somebody makes.
Right.
And there's no customer care. There's no plan.
So we started custom care 6 years ago, and it's an algorithm. It's a computer program that basically assigns all the tasks of things like power washing your house, just checking the roof for all the flashing, once a year, clean out the drain
So for
system.
all the people listening, I build with you. You
Yeah.
give me a book. It tells me when to clean the rain gutters,
Yeah.
when to check the drains,
Yes.
when to redo the
Yes, it's like
elastomer.
60 items of things.
And
you
so
have to
how
do.
does that work then? Do they
So
actually?
so then you pay the direct cost of what the work is. We
Right.
don't charge any markup on it because we want you to take care of your house, right?
Yeah.
And so the program is going to be emailing you all the reminders.
Yeah.
Do this, do this, do this. But it's also emailing me.
Right.
Right. And your profile is set up. So going back to Chris Radomski, love Chris, but it's going back to Chris's house and saying, hey, this house is, looks like it's 15 years old. It's been beat up.
Yeah.
And I said, Chris, you got all these nice cars in your garage, Ferraris and stuff, all super nice. But like, why don't you wash your house? You
Yeah,
know?
yeah.
Right. Not that Chris doesn't want to wash his house.
Right.
It's just he doesn't have the resources to
Or
do
he's
it.
not thinking about it.
He's not thinking about it.
Yeah.
So what it does
It's
is
like when you have your light in your car, it says
Yeah.
oil change. You don't have anything that's
exactly
notifying you.
right, but you've got more parts and components in your house than you have in a car.
So go back to the processes of building. I wanted to dig
Okay,
a little deeper
so all
on that.
right. So what it does, but we'll close on this. So what it does basically is it's emailing me all the service items, whether you do or don't do, so we have record of it.
Right.
So I'm going playing soccer, with you, and you're bricks on the soccer field, and you're like, oh, Patterson, my house, my roof leaked.
Yeah.
Patterson is terrible. I said, hold on a second.
Yeah.
Wait a second. Tim, this is you, right? Tim Smith.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
Right. 222 Orchid. That's you.
Yeah, yeah.
Right. Well, why haven't you taken we've been trying to get in your house for 5 years, trying to resurface your deck, and
Right.
you keep declining the service. So don't be at the soccer field
Give
telling
a-
me
yeah.
that I'm a bad builder when you just won't sign up for the service.
Yeah.
And it's so cheap.
Yeah.
It's like $10,000 a year for everything,
Yeah.
for all the services, and we don't charge you a markup on it.
Why is that so important to you?
Because what it does is it allows my brand of what I build to stay as good as it looked when we finished, right?
Yeah.
So most people, these developers come in from out of the area.
But dig a little deeper. So it's your brand that you built. It's your reputation.
Yes. It's walking up and down all the streets. I built like 11 houses on Orchid alone.
Yeah.
And I live in Corona more.
Yeah.
So every house and street I can walk up and down.
Yeah.
All these homes are glistening. They're shiny. They're nice because people are getting the service pushed on them to do all the work and power wash the house and clean the windows and caulk the joints so they don't fall apart.
Yeah.
Right? You can't eat now leaders every day and not go to the dentist.
Right.
Right?
For sure. It's
Right?
like you have to do the maintenance.
You can't take a $180,000 Range Rover and drive for 5 years, not change the oil.
So
right?
going back to the archaic system, you didn't work for a builder. You didn't
Right.
do it. So you looked at this.
So now to kind of go back to your question is how many homes are we building? Right.
Yeah.
Right. So under contract, we have about 40 houses under contract. 42 houses under contract. Okay. But we don't do any projects. If you come to me and say, hey, here's my approved permit set of plans, give me a bid, I'll say, sorry, we're not interested. Like, whoa, what do you mean? Because you already made all the mistakes possible. Like, what do you mean I made a mistake? Well, did you interface with the architect, the structural engineer, the interior designer, the landscape architect, the civil? They all interface together with a mechanical engineer. They all like, whoa. No, I paid the architect. I said, well,
but you've had to in the years taken a set of plans where somebody hired you.
Yes, and it was a disaster.
Yeah,
total disaster.
So you're saying for everybody listening, because there's a lot of people thinking about building. It's
so this makes more sense, right?
Yeah.
So you come to Orange County, right?
Yep.
From Nebraska or Alabama or New York City, wherever you're coming from, right?
Yep.
And you show up. Does this make more sense? Hey, I hook up with a local realtor, right? Like Tim Smith,
Yep.
right? Or hook up with a builder like Patterson. And Patterson says, hey, we don't have any lots that we know of, but I know a guy named Tim that does, right? Hey, I'm working with Tim. I found this lot. You know, local builder. Yeah, Patterson, right? So what we do then is say, okay, well, educate the people. Do you understand, right, that there's no magic concrete guy that's like 50% less than everyone else, right? There's no magic finished carpenter that's half the price. So when someone comes out and says, oh, it's $500 a square foot to build the house, it's a lie. It's just puffery, right? People in their mind think they're getting the house we have on Instagram and the homes that we build. Yeah. It's transferable. Right. There's no plan specifications or architectural drawings that show how we build the house. Yeah. Right? Right. So anyone can take a set of plans and put thinner drywall in, crappier flooring in, bad fixtures, terrible framing in the walls, and cheap out. But you as the consumer would never know. Right? So our model is totally different.
But that's the Steve Jobs. It's like what's behind the walls
is more important.
Is as important as what you're seeing, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And like reputation, brand, and character.
So what we do is say, okay, well, it's all just a commodity stream, and everyone's gonna talk to it anyway. So why don't I just say it's all open? Well, what do you mean it's all open? Well, okay, well, we charge a percentage of the cost. Here's all the costs. Well, how long does it take? Here's all the schedules. Yeah. So we take them on a tour of the houses, come with us, and here's all the homes that we just finished, and here's all the budgets. Yeah. Here's all the costs.
And then it dispels the myth of the builder that can do it. But I guess there's still builders like yourself that it can build just at a lower fee. They like to buy the business, but overall, you get what you pay for.
Exactly right, though. So, but when
those are the builders that are coming in over budget, over cost,
because they just throw a number out. They have no back office. I've got 36 people full time, and 6 of the people in my organization are just doing metrics. They're doing scheduling. They're doing tracking the cost. They're doing unit cost templates. They're doing the aftercare. They're doing so much stuff so we can accurately tell these clients this is what's going to cost. So then we say, okay, now we're going to work as a main point of contact to facilitate your architect, your structural engineer, your HVAC, mechanical, right? And that's why I work so great with Chris Brandon on all these projects because his mentality is the same as mine. Where he's like, hey, here's all the costs. Here's the program we're using, the top-notch technology possible. So the clients are actually able to see in 3D their house before we put a shovel in the ground.
Yeah, for sure.
They walk in the house with the goggles on. So he's grown his business because we started, all 3 of us started at the same time. And we all have adjusted our businesses.
But it's funny. It's funny when you go back because, and we'll talk to Chris Brandon next month, but you talk like everybody looks at like you, and it's hard not to look and see your success because you still haven't talked about how many homes you're building, but I got to believe there's at least 30 you're building right now.
So we will only work with projects we take from the beginning. That means land purchase, just inception.
25.
So, but you have to frame it because if you say too many,
Yeah.
people say, "Oh, she doesn't have time for me."
Yeah,
right,
for sure.
right. So
we got to come back to that
we,
because
no,
that's a question
no,
I
I'll tell you.
really
So,
want to talk
so
about.
on the I'm going to break it down. So on the front end, right now we have probably 15 projects that are all in pre-construction,
Right.
which takes anywhere from a year to 18 months,
Right.
to get all this done, because we will not start a project until the entire specification book is bid out, 100, 300, 400 page books.
Well, I mean, that's
bids.
that's where I would give a commercial. We've done a lot of work with you in the past, and selling your homes
Right.
is like the cleanest, smoothest process ever. Because when I go to a buyer that's coming down here and they say, I mean, I won't even take other builders' pre-construction projects because it becomes a mess. Your spec book is so dialed that there's no latitude.
And all the bids are there.
And it's like, it's there. It's like, this is what's going to be built. You can choose the color of your baby's wall, but we've already spec'd this out, and this is where we're at. Nobody has that system, right?
And all the bids to back it up.
But congratulations to you, because going back to those 5 homes, to build a business, and I think there's going to be a lot of people listening, that it's like, once you get to the level that you're at, then you have to deal with, well, I'm not going to get Andrew. Well, it's actually, when you really look at a scalable business, a team always outperforms an individual.
Correct.
You have systems and structures for everything. Doesn't mean there's not going to be headaches. Doesn't mean there's not going to be delays. But when you get Andrew Patterson, you get a Patterson Custom Home, I promise you, I can sell it in the marketplace at a premium to any of the other homes.
Right.
And it's not just because of what you built, the systems, the character, and the integrity. So 15 in the entitlement process.
And then another, at any given time, there's probably 20
that are under construction.
And then another 5 in what's called closeout, which is they've just moved in, the punch list process is happening, because we do a whole punch list process before they move in.
Yeah.
And then after they move in, you're kind of on a watch list. Like, hey, how's, are the lights all working like right? Is there any sounds that are funny? So that's kind of where it is. So on 42 projects, it's 15 sort of like coming in for, on the approach, 20 on the runway landing, and then 5, just, unloading the
And then let's talk a little bit about the environment we're in right now. This new high inflation, high interest rate. Everybody tells me the market's going to shit the bed, but you still can't show me any data, including look at 2201 Bayside Drive. That price is peak, right? So how has this new environment affected your business? Are you seeing less starts? Are you seeing less people?
No. It's still cranking along, and I think it's because Newport Beach is really become such a destination place in the world where, you spoke when we started the interview. You said, "Oh, there's 50% of the people are from out of the area." I think it's way more than that, because our business is set up to build houses for people who don't live here. So all of our meetings is all by Zoom. Everything is DocuSign. Everything is, client meetings all the time that are remote, right? And so when you asked about, Patterson doesn't get, don't get Patterson builds all the houses, but it's the opposite of what you think, because when you have out-of-state people, they want to know what's going on. They want to talk. They don't want to talk about the project so much. They want to talk about, like, Newport Beach. Hey, where do you recommend going? Like, where do my kids sign for junior lifeguards?
For sure.
Okay. And so why I'm so blessed right now is that people say, "Oh, you're so successful. You've got this house and this cars and blah, blah, blah." I don't care about any of that stuff, man. What's happy to me, what my success really is, why I'm so happy, is because my true talent, which I'm really good at, is finding people and hiring people that are way smarter than me. Okay. That is my talent. I can put a group of people together that are so much smarter than me to do the things that I'm not good at. Right. And a lot of parts of the business I'm not good at, right? I'm not really that great of a home builder, but I'm a phenomenal operator of a custom home building company, okay?
Yeah.
So where's Andrew? What's how am I going to
But isn't that the true definition of scaling it?
But this is it. It's because I don't have to worry about like where the valve is that's backward or waiting for an inspection for this guy. All of it's handled. So I literally just do bro calls with all my clients all the time.
Yeah.
These guys, all my clients, like, just call me. Just, hey, I'm driving the gymnastics. Oh, you had a question about what's going on with the summer activities? Like, where should I get my kids enrolled? Or, hey, I need to get a golf cart. Where do you recommend doing this? Or, hey, what do you think about these cabinet details that the designer's pushing on me? It's like, well, your wife really likes it. He's like, I know, but I just can't get behind it. What do you think? It's like, honestly, I think it looks terrible. And he goes, really? Why don't you say something? It's like, I don't know. I mean, I'm just asking my opinion, right? I just don't think, I don't like it.
Yeah.
And he goes, what would you do instead? So I get to interact with all these clients on a personal level opposed to a business level.
But so really what you're saying, you're not a builder, you're a businessman that builds homes.
That's exactly right.
And you've made a scalable business.
Correct.
And you've built a product that you will back. I mean, that was the big thing for me when I started, when I met you. I'm like, this is my guy. Like when he's going to back his product on a 3-year-old house, that wasn't his fault. And it wasn't, I don't want to give Chris a hard time. It was just like, you have dogs.
It's dog ate holes in it. I mean,
it's deferred maintenance. Yeah. So you're a businessman that builds homes and you've done a really good job.
Right.
So a few more questions. Number one, what keeps you up at night? What are the biggest challenges in running a business of this size?
The hardest part that really bothers me the most, that I stress out the most, is not having full control over the labor market. And that's the hardest part, is the shift in the labor market.
What does that mean? Over your subs?
Over the subs, yeah.
Right.
So I can control people that work for me. I've got direct control over.
But none of the subs, so like different states are different. A lot of builders in different states have employees.
Right, in California.
You have no employees that are your subcontractors.
No, because the workman's comp laws in California are so intense that if anyone does self-performs any work, then all the workman's comp rating goes up for all my directors, who all make big salaries. So it would be crazy for the workman's comp. And also there's a lot more, liability involved, and, people getting hurt and things like that. So it's much better to subcontract all of it out.
Yeah.
But the negative is that these guys are working with people too. So if like the plumber doesn't get paid by a builder because he took the money and bought some truck or something and didn't, took the money and didn't pay the plumber. Now the guy doesn't have money to staff his guys to run your job you paid him for. Yeah. That's a problem for me.
Yeah. So
it's not having full control over the labor market is terrible, because I'm representing that I'm building the house, but really I am, my team is, but really like Dwayne the plumber, Rick the carpenter, Mike the framer, those guys are building the house.
Right.
And so the biggest issue we have now is becoming a very bifurcated market, which is scary, because you can only make so much money per day working as a tradesman, right? Where you can't really afford to live here in this area, because if you want to have, nice schools and, nice family, big yard, big house, you have to go inland, right? Or drive an hour and a half. Well, if gas is $3 a gallon, it's not a big deal. Yeah. But if it's $8,
it's a big deal.
Then half your paycheck for the day is gone.
Yeah.
So we've lost an incredible amount of people, like really good guys. In the last 2 years, they've all gone to Texas, Tennessee, Idaho.
Well, that's
Oregon.
But that's a bigger issue for California, because what we're doing, and we're seeing this on in the trenches, is that we're becoming a second home community.
Right.
Like the first 20 years in the business, I didn't lose to I would lose clients to Malibu, to LA, to Miami, to New York. Now we're seeing everything. We're really pinching the middle class out, and those are the ones that are migrating out, because when people say, how many of your clients are moving out of state? I'm like, none.
Yeah, okay.
They're like, I'm just getting more and more and more clients, and this one's coming from Miami, but they're only here 5 months and 29 days, right?
I've got
I don't
have
like that right now. But I have friends and things in there. Okay, so a couple of questions, because I think this is important, and these are gonna be faster. What does it cost to build per square foot today?
There's a range, because
give me the range.
The range anywhere from $850 a square foot to about $1,200 a square foot.
Okay, and that gets you top shelf. Obviously, you could go $3,000 a foot. I mean,
I wouldn't let you.
Yeah.
So if you started picking stuff like that, I'd be in your like, that's stupid.
What's the time frame?
It takes anywhere from, well, it depends the style.
Let's start.
So we do it 3 ways.
Okay.
We have under 4,500 square foot houses.
Yeah.
We have over 4,500 square foot houses.
Yeah.
And we have houses with basements.
Got it.
Okay. So without dewatering.
Yeah.
Not
right.
front.
Right.
So under 40, we do everything from the day the foundation is done.
Yeah.
Because that's the better way to do it, because the foundation, you can get caught in the weather.
Yeah, for sure.
But so from the foundation forward, under 4,500 square feet is about 18 months.
Okay.
Over 4,500 square feet is about 23 to 24 months.
Okay.
And with basements, about 28 months.
Okay, so now, and we could go on forever, and I'm going to have you back with Chris Brandon, because I think it'd be fun to have a dialogue, because people are interested. So 8 to 1,200 a foot is what gets you top shelf.
But this is what we always do with dirty. So that's what's important. This is the little trick you guys have, the realtor guys. Okay, so it's very important, that if you ask a builder what is the cost per square foot, we're calculating the living space and the garage.
Yes.
If you ask a realtor what did the house sell for per square foot, they only count the living space and not the garage.
But we're saying, just so people know, $800 to $1,200 a square foot. That's your all-in soft cost, hard kiss, everything. And it's somewhere between 2 and 3 years. Obviously, if you're on the bayfront or the beach, you have to go through coastal. Shit can happen, right?
Yeah, but it's about a year to get a permit.
Okay, so what's the next 10 years look like for Patterson Custom Homes?
Next 10, just the exact same it looks today. It's just enjoying my life.
Just keep doing it.
Yeah, I'm at a point now in my life where it's I don't have to do this. I do because I love it.
Yeah.
And I love interacting with my clients. All my clients become my friends because and we're taking care of the houses and just meeting new people all the time and trying to stay out of the house so my wife doesn't get pissed off at me. Trying to.
She's like, it's 5 o'clock. You're already home. What are you doing?
Don't you have somewhere to be? I have a lot of energy, and just watching the people that work with me and work for me in the business that make Patterson Custom Homes what it is. To watch them grow, right? And that's the biggest part. I'm so excited about it. It's watching these people have get married, have babies, and grow. And we don't want any retention, or we don't want any loss, right? So we want to keep the retention of all the people. So we have great remote working. A lot of women that have babies, they work remotely and they stay with us, and it works out great. People that go out of state, they work remotely because they don't want to lose talent. They're such good people. Sure. And just the biggest joy in my life is watching the people that make this business great and make my life able to interact with all my clients without any stress or worry. Great is to watch them grow. That's my biggest joy.
It's really the Patterson Custom Home community.
That's what it is, and that's what it is, and that's what it is. And then it's a huge honor when I go and look at MLS stuff and it says built by Patterson or part of the Patterson Custom Home warranty. It comes with Patterson Custom Home warranty, care warranty program. So stuff like that really makes me feel amazing.
Okay, so a few other questions. One, tell us about what you do in Newport Beach. Like, where are you gonna go to breakfast? What are you gonna do on a weekend with your kids?
So both my girls are competitive athletes, that. Yep. So typically we'll get up, we'll go surfing down at River Jetties, bring the dog. We'll e-bikes all over the place. Every other week at least we go down to Shake Shack on e-bikes. Dinner probably Time Bahamas, Gulfstream from the shopping center right there, bikes there.
All the
farmers market every Saturday.
Okay.
Golf cart.
Yeah.
So it really is a walking community.
But when you're at the farmers market, are you like every other person you know?
That's my wife won't go with me.
Yeah.
She hates it. She can't stand it. My youngest daughters don't mind it so much. My oldest daughter is kind of like over it now. It's just I've built in CDM alone I've built 200 houses. And so it's I'm not going to not run into someone I know.
Yeah, for sure.
So, but I enjoy it. I think it's great.
Totally.
It's just
the Patterson Custom Home community.
Right.
Do you have a quote that you live by?
I honestly live each day like it's my last. Every day I wake up, I'm just so blessed to be alive. I'm just so thankful. With my family, I'm just, I'm blessed, man. I feel like I'm just living this fairy tale where it's hard. What I do all day it's hard. Like every day is an emergency. Every day is a crisis. Oh my God, it's the world's ending. Every day is something new. But the fact that I get to live this life and be a part of this community and, have this infrastructure and this business, this brand set up where it's people call all day and call us and really get to pick our clients. That's what it is. Live each day like it's my last, because you know what tomorrow's going to bring.
That's right. And especially when you have some stuff in life with family and everything, it really emphasizes that. Thank you so much for joining us. We're going to have you back with Chris and Brooke. I think that'd be a really fun thing. If you're looking to build Patterson Custom Homes, we already refer you. And sometimes I get a little loose on my numbers, but during the time when we were selling a lot of your spec stuff, it was an 8 to 11% premium that Patterson Custom Homes got relative to the competition.
Right.
Because I like to quantify everything.
Yes.
And so that is a tremendous compliment to you and
Thank
what
you.
you're building and the community you have.
Right. But also, you should be proud of yourself too. I mean, we both started at the same time, man. I mean, you dominate the industry, dominate the marketplace, and you are, you do the one thing you do that's negative is you make it look too easy. A lot of people,
which you do too, though.
I know.
But it's interesting. But everybody,
but back to the business though, is that the adage is, and it's so true, is that especially in your situation, 1% of the guys do 99.99% of the business, right?
Yeah.
You still got the OGs like Steve Hyde, Evan Corkett, like the OGs of Newport.
Yeah.
But you dominate the market not because you're like it all just comes to you out of nowhere. I mean, you bust your ass. I mean, I'm on vacation. We travel together. We're friends outside of work. And you're always on the phone. You're always doing a deal. And I'll never forget when I was with Dan Diana in Las Vegas, and I was talking to you. You're not gonna believe this. Jamie's out of town, and we got like the 3-6 Mafia, whatever it was, filming a rap video at their house. And I gotta wrap this up because Jamie's gonna come home and she doesn't know we're here shooting a rap video. So, wait, rap video? We need to shoot a rap video. So no, I've got the entire house and the street locked down. I'm making a rap video about a Duffy boat.
Well,
I go, excuse me, what are you talking about? So then I was at dinner. I was at with dinner with Dan Diana, and we're like, Tim Smith making a rap video at Craig's house. And then sure enough, and I told you this before, it's like, you're a marketing genius, man.
Thank you.
You have a gift and a knack for just finding such outside the box ways to sell things that no one's ever seen before, right?
Yeah.
So the same way I kind of come with my approach on building, which is so like different than the other way of doing it.
Yeah.
You've done the same thing, and that's why I think we are friends.
Yeah,
is because
for sure.
and we respect each other.
But two things that end. Number one, because I keep on thinking about this, and all the people, Chris Brandon, Brooke Wagner, everybody thinks that like they were born in this business. Like Patterson Custom Homes, he does such a good job.
No.
Or Tim Smith, but it's like that's not how entrepreneurial life is.
No,
it's like you're taking a risk and you're betting on you.
Yeah.
And then you're putting, and half the time you don't know what you're doing. Just like you said, you bought your place that you sold for 50 grand, you made 50 grand, and then you lost money on the other two.
Yeah.
Then you had to get a loan once you met your wife. And so life unfolds. It's not, life doesn't happen to you, it happens for you.
Right.
But you have to be that right type of person.
Right. And it's also a lot of luck involved too. I mean, you can only work so hard. I mean, I put 1,000% in. I mean, I work, I'm never not working. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, I'm on the phone, I'm doing something, I'm meddling with something, going somewhere, doing something. 1,000%. I came out of the womb this way, I'm just ramped up, right? But, I'm lucky, because there's a lot of luck involved. There's a couple things along my career in the last, 22 years. I've had some horrible things happen that are outside of my control.
Yeah.
It's just like, leaks or, fires or car accidents or, people didn't pay.
Yeah.
A couple people didn't pay me, almost took out of business a couple times.
Yeah.
And so it's a lot of luck too. So that's the unfortunate
but
part.
Wouldn't you say this is a good line? Luck is a loser's excuse for a winner's commitment.
That's exactly right.
Because when it's not so much luck, because no matter what happens, it's that you had the grit to push through it.
Correct.
And you didn't stop or give up.
No.
And you kept going.
Never.
And you figured out a way.
Right.
And that's what I want people to understand. It's like, I think it's like, and I've been a big advocate of people working for themselves.
Right.
Just because I think that like the sky's the limit. Even when you started your first thing, you made $50,000 as a 22-year-old. Yeah. That's like making 500 grand right now.
I know.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's a big number.
Right. And I think one of the on a closing note, sort of what we say in our household, like with the Patterson, for all my girls, and is what we always say is Patterson's, right? You can go slow, you can slow down, but you can never quit, right?
Yeah.
So if you're tired, it's okay, slow down, but you can never quit,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And there's no quitters in my family.
Yeah.
They're not allowed to quit.
I love it.
But they can go slow.
Yeah.
Hey, you want to walk a little bit, that's fine.
Yeah.
But you better finish.
Yeah. I love it.
Because that's how I feel, You can't ever quit, you can never walk away. And especially if you're building a brand, who you work with matters.
Yeah.
Right?
I trademarked that, but people still.
I know. But when you work towards that, ethos, though, that's who you are, right?
Yeah.
It becomes you. right?
Yeah.
And you're not going to quit that.
Yeah.
You're going to be like, I'm not going to call that guy back.
Right.
You know, but that one time you invite that one, can I say the one story how you invited those guys to dinner for the lunch for the listing presentation? This is my favorite story. You're so gangster.
We're finishing on this.
You're so gangster. It's funny Tim Smith story. I got a project. I'll keep all the names out of it.
Yes.
Okay. You referred me to a project.
Yes.
Right.
I'm glad that you gave me credit.
Well,
yes.
Well, you referred me to a project.
Yeah.
You told me about a project that someone was buying.
Yeah.
That I called.
Yeah.
And then I got contracted and I got brought in.
Yeah.
And I in turn brought you back in.
Yeah.
And
deal. That's right.
That's
right.
the deal.
That's
the
how
deal.
it works. Yeah.
So he wasn't sure about you.
Yeah.
Tim Smith, all this business.
Yeah.
All these videos. Too much going on with Tim. Never get hold of Tim.
Yeah.
I said, no, I swear this guy's the greatest. You gotta just give him a second chance. So I get the whole lunch set up for you and the business partner, right? To go to lunch at R&D Cafe.
Yep.
Right? And you go to lunch at R&D Cafe and you invite them, take them to lunch, order all the stuff, and then you get up from the table to go to the bathroom, but you take another call for another deal.
Yeah.
And it was so important, you forgot the people at the table and left. And you left them there. You left them at the table and forgot. And an hour later, you called me and said, oh my God, I totally spaced. I think I left those guys at the table and they had to pay for their own lunch.
And the funny thing is,
but you were so good, you still got back in.
and I've paid for 10 lunches since then. So I appreciate it. Thanks so much for coming today. We'll see you next week. Thanks for joining.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to Room, presented by the Smith Group. This episode was hosted by Tim Smith and produced by Michelle Akers. Chris Stacy is our studio director. Editing by Jake Austin. Special thanks to Pacific Staging and Sandy Newport.